So what is biodiversity? According to the WWF, the World Wildlife Fund, biodiversity is the variety of life on Earth, and it is the variety within and between all species of the planet, animals, and microorganisms alike. So biodiversity itself is the most complex feature of our planet, and it is the most vital. Biodiversity is comprised of several levels, starting with genes, then individual species, then communities of creatures, and finally entire ecosystems. Now these ecosystems can be like the tropical, like the Amazon, or they can be similar to oak forests in North America. There's different ones all over, and they're all important to the world in their own way. So why does biodiversity matter in the Amazon? So 10% of the world's known biodiversity is in the Amazon, and it has also the most endangered flora and fauna. It's the single largest tropical forest remaining on the planet, and has 40,000 plant species, 427 mammal species, 1,300 birds, 378 reptile species, 400 amphibian species, and 3,000 freshwater fishes. The Amazon is also host to 40% of the world's remaining tropical forests. And it also contains 76% of the, 76 billion tons of carbon stored in plant and animal life. In the world, there has been extreme biodiversity loss over the previous years due to many factors like pollution and the burning down of the Amazon forest. Now, most people don't know about this, but can't really do anything in their normal life, and so there hasn't been much change to it. The total species loss is ranging in the hundreds to thousands now. So why is this important to you and me? If the Amazon continues to lose forests at its current rate, in coming years, 50 to 100 years, we could end up with a irreversible disaster of carbon burning. So what are the potential solutions?
So the first solution was actually implemented in the Kimberley region of Australia, which is the North Hemisphere section of Australia. And all this data comes from the Ecological Society of Australia, and it's all on the same EcoFire project. Now, the main problem with Kimberley, Australia, was that there are these intense wildfires that would burn down a lot of the newly formed plant life, and it would cause a steep decrease in plant and animal biodiversity. This is actually the golden-backed tree rat, which is now extinct in northern Australia. It can still be found in southern Australia, but half of the continent, it's just gone. This map is showing the actual EcoFire project at work. So Kimberley is a hard-to-navigate place, so they had to use helicopters. And what they did was they burned down certain sections during the early dry season of Kimberley, and when they burned it down, they would cause scarring. That way it would always burn down those sections every year, and there would be less intense wildfires. This is actually the data from those. So as we see here, these are the years 2005, 2006, before EcoFire was introduced. The red are the intense, hot-burning wildfires of Kimberley. And the red and the blue are the low scarring. So after EcoFire was introduced, when they started causing the fire scars, there were a lot less intense fires, which led to more biodiversity. This graph, also before EcoFire, shows the different sections and ages of plants and areas. So red would be youngest, orange is about a year old, and green is from 2 to 3 or more years old. After eco-fire, there was a lot more mixing of young and old plants together, so it would be fires would burn down all the plants and new ones would have to come in. It's a lot more heterogeneous. It's a heterogeneous population. Now, the pros of this is that it's actual real-world evidence of eco-fire helping restore biodiversity. The problem with it is it's not applicable in the same way it is with Kimberley as it is with the Amazon, because they're two different biomes. Kimberley is a savanna, and the Amazon is a tropical rainforest. And the Amazon's main problem isn't just fires, it's also human deforestation. So just causing fire scarring wouldn't entirely help the Amazon. Second solution was reported by Liz Cambro from the Mongabay news website, and it reports on a study by Janeth Lesman and her team. And what they did was basically, for the western part of the Amazon, they looked at all of the endangered species and plants that were in those areas, and they used economical data to try to put prices on each of these species. And with that, they could find out what the price of different land in that part of the Amazon was, ecologically speaking. And they would form a cost-effective way that would protect the most things with the least amount of money. And this is what they came up with. So over here, this is a graph showing the current protected areas of the Amazon and the cost, or the most valuable parts of the Amazon. And this part is showing different areas of the Amazon and what's happening in them. So one interesting thing that they found, and this is a quote from Janice Lesman, is, "It surprised me finding that for this region, the presence of indigenous lands in protected areas is also associated with lower management costs." So what they found out was that Native people would protect the land, and it would cost less. So they formed their whole plan on how can we give these people more rights, and how can we have them protect the Amazon with us. Now, the main problem with the solution is that it's a big debate on what to protect in the Amazon. There's a lot of people saying we should just protect the species. There's a lot of people saying we should try to protect as much land as possible. Lesman tried to find the best of both worlds and get a lot of species with the most amount of land at the least cost. But there's still always going to be disagreements on how could we be protecting it better. The area they chose was about 223,622 kilometers, or about half the size of California. And one of the main problems with their area is it only is in the western part of the Amazon on the borders of Peru and Colombia, and it doesn't take space in the rest of the Amazon.
So the third solution is to fix the decreasing biodiversity is increasing Amazon protection areas. According to the Food and Agriculture Association of the United Nations, Amazon protection areas help minimize the impacts of climate change on the Amazon biome and increase the resilience of people's livelihoods to these environmental changes. This project better protects the biodiversity of the Amazon and safeguards the community life and local economies that depend on the Amazon. It also helps combat deforestation, which is a big factor in climate change and loss of biodiversity. According to Victor Soares, a writer for the World Bank, the Amazon Regional Protected Areas Program addresses deforestation by expanding and consolidating areas under strict protection. With origins in Brazil's commitment to reduce deforestation rates, ARPA is working to increase the total area under strict supervision to 10% of Brazil's Amazon basin. This shows that this solution is feasible in working toward increasing strictly protected areas.
Got to cut you guys off. That was 10 minutes. So So now you know you're running long, so you need an airport, okay? And I gave you some suggestions in terms of how you get in, right? And I don't think you're running too long. You're just probably a minute and a half, maybe 2 minutes. Okay, there you go. Good. Well, good. Thanks for the groups that went today. I've got some general comments. This will apply. Oh, yeah. Congratulations to them. Nicely done, everybody. The best part is being done with your practice one, so you can see what you need to do. Okay, general comments, and I'm sure everybody who didn't go today could see this because you could watch all the presentations, whereas people who are going were just focused on those, okay? Your slides are terrible, and I'm talking to the people who are going to go Monday too. Yours are probably just as bad as the people who went today.